The Chicago Cubs get the 2-0 win to salvage the series down in Atlanta. Hi, everybody. My name is Steven Ryan, and welcome to today's edition of Cubs Daily. Today's episode is sponsored by Kalshi. Use code FANARCHBASEBALL to get $10 in trades when you trade your first $10. Go trade with Kalshi today. So just like I said, the Cubs got that 2-0 victory today, heading into our crosstown classic rivalry series against the White Sox this weekend. But this win today was very, very important. Not only for just getting back off the losing schneid, but honestly, for us fans, just to see how we can compete against these teams that, I'm just going to be honest with you, I dub them in the higher class. The Braves and the Dodgers, in my opinion, are the class of the National League. The Dodgers have won multiple World Series this decade. The Braves have also won a World Series this decade as well. So when you just kind of talk about these teams and the sustained level of success, this is where I would love the Cubs to get to here over the course of the next 5 to 10 years, right? So getting the win today was absolutely huge. It was Ben Brown versus Chris Sale, and honestly, with the score like 2-0, it was fully anticipated just how it's been. Now, I wasn't sure what Ben Brown was going to do, right? Like, I don't know about you guys personally. I love what I'm seeing from Ben Brown, by the way. The sinker is working nicely. He's able to balance that with his knuckle curve, and it looks so pretty. He froze Matt Olson early on in the game. I was like, wow. He must be really working with those other pitches to keep Matt Olson just floored with a pitch like that, because it just hung right in and it was healthily in the middle of the zone. So kudos to Ben Brown. We're going to talk about him here in a second. But, obviously Chris Sale is Chris Sale. He did a really, really good job as well. He only gave up the 1 run. He went 6 innings strong, struck out 8, only walked 2. And, their bullpen kind of held serve until Ian Happ was able to give him that insurance home run in the 8th. Again, these are the kind of wins the Cubs are going to need here, especially when the offense is not rolling. And we know it's going to be up and down. I think we all can agree that we don't really like how searing hot it can get and how frigid cold it can get with the offense. But this is baseball, guys. This is kind of what our team looks like, and you just got to be able to find ways to get victories. And again, shout out to Ben Brown, ladies and gentlemen. He went toe-to-toe with Chris Sale for the first 4 innings. Now, we know Ben Brown is not ramped up to go give us 6 innings quite yet. I think he threw, a little over 60 pitches in his appearance today. But again, 4 innings, 7 Ks, 1 walk, just a job well done, only 1 hit. Ben Brown has been sharp for the Cubs this year, and you just absolutely love to see it. Shout out to the bullpen, by the way. Everyone on the bullpen gave up a hit. 1 hit. Everyone in the bullpen gave up 1 hit. Brown 1 hit, Milner 1 hit, Maedon 1 hit, Jay Webb 1 hit, and then Palencia gave up 1 hit as well, but no runs. 13 Ks to 1 strikeout. You just love to see that kind of stuff. And Milner, shout out to you, man. You went 2 innings for us. Maedon kind of bounced back a little bit. He even struck out a couple as well. So just good to see a nice, I'm not going to say comfortable win. It's just a good baseball win, in my opinion, for this game. And hopefully we can kind of take this momentum into the series against the White Sox. And, again, like I was reading it on Twitter, but like it was good to see Ian Happ hit a home run. And I just say that because he had a couple during this cold stretch that were just foul. They were just right? When we hit a line drive, it was right at someone. And again, that is baseball. It's gonna happen. It's the funny game where, you can absolutely square that rock up and it's right at someone, or you can make the weakest contact ever, but there's grass all around and no one's there to cover it. So it's just how it goes. Good team win, in my opinion, here with the Chicago Cubs. And, when you win a game like that, you kind of hope to roll that momentum into the next series. And this is an excellent opportunity for you guys to check out our today's sponsor, Kalshi. Like I said, use promo code FANARCHBASEBALL to get $10 when you trade your first $10 with Kalshi. And as the Cubs roll into a big-time series against the White Sox, both teams above 500 facing each other for the first time since 2000. 8. You're going to be wanting to maybe a little more extra action on this one, in my opinion, right? Kalshi lets you trade on real sports outcomes. So if you think the Cubs are going to win, go check them out. Could this be the start of a winning streak, right? Is Seiya going to turn it around? Alex Bregman, you can check out all those plays on Kalshi. I've been using Kalshi because it adds another level of excitement to every single game. It's fast, easy to use, and perfect for fans who are already following baseball every day like we do here on Cubs Daily. And right now, when you sign up, like I said just before, use code FANARCHBASEBALL to get $10 off when you trade your first $10. So before the first pitch tomorrow, go check out Kalshi and go invest in our Cubs as we look to take on the White Sox in this next one. So let's talk about the White Sox, right? We are facing the red-hot White Sox yesterday. They just finished off a sweep of the Kansas City Royals. They are above 500, 22-21. The team is looking good. They have a lot of guys who are not household names pitching, but they are doing an absolutely fantastic job. And this is not going to be an easy series for the Cubs. I don't take this White Sox team lightly. I thought they've improved massively since last year. And again, it's showing. Their young guys are starting to come up. Sam Antonacci starting to play ball. Munetaka Murakami, one of the best rookies in baseball. Colson Montgomery is seeming to, continue to bounce back in a quality way. So it's really, really exciting to see for the White Sox. I'm just curious to see how the Cubs can, step in here and just kind of take care of business against a team like this. Now, again, when I say that, I don't think the Cubs are going to roll them in every single game. No, not by any means. I don't think that's really going to happen here, but the Cubs got to get right. The Cubs are back home. We're going to be sleeping in our own beds. Get to the ballpark and let's hit the baseball against these guys and get the bats rolling, because we know to sustain any form of winning while our pitching's hurt, we have to get hot. The offense has to get better. I do anticipate we're going to have a good chance of doing that. We got Edward Cabrera going tomorrow. We'll have Colin Ray probably going on Sunday. And then in between that, probably going to be like a Javier Assad type day. It's just going to be very, very interesting to see how the Cubs use their bullpen arms to get through this series. And then, next week is not going to get any easier. I know we're going to be facing the Milwaukee Brewers again. They're playing really well because that's what they do. So Crosstown Classic set to begin today. It's going to be a really, really good series, and I'm excited to see the Cubs play the rivals. And I'm actually kind of excited to see the spark of the rivalry back up, which is awesome to see. So, as you guys and gals know, it is Friday, so we go over your comments from the past week, and we got a couple of good ones to get on into. So let's just start off hot right away, right? J Daddy says, Jed absolutely has to get an ace, not bargain bin. J Daddy, I think I've been trying to preach that for basically this whole time. The Cubs have kind of been competitive in this window. I know we absolutely need an ace type pitcher. The thing I think the Cubs like to do, though, is they really, really sit there and they anticipate the development of a player within their organization to take that role. I genuinely think they want Cade Horton to be that guy. Unfortunately, he's out for a year. And, whatever games we get next year, he's going to be out for some of that too. And he's kind of got to ramp back up. He's got to, because just once you come back from an injury, especially a major injury, you're not necessarily all there. You still got to get those game reps in. So we're still like, let's say 2 or 3 years away from Horton being anything of that nature for this team if he can stay healthy. And he's a guy who has had injury concerns. So absolutely 100% agree. We need to go get ourselves an ace. Now, Stolen Jam kind of feeds into that statement. So let's just read this here. Steve, who do you suggest we trade for pitching without dismantling the farm system? Great question, Stolen. My thoughts are Alcantara or Shaw, and maybe one of our stud first basemen on the farm, maybe Long. No pitching, unless we get a stud in return. On another note, I'd like to extend Imanaga with a 3-year contract full of incentives to keep him sharp. Trade for Webb if it's a friendly contract. Trade for Peralta if it doesn't empty the farm system. Maybe flip Ray or Tyone in that trade. Why not get aggressive and go after both? Okay. Well, I mean, hey, that's not bad still. I understand the getting aggressive Okay. And I'll never blame a team for getting aggressive, like going for it all, trying to win the World Series. My only problem is specifically on the Peralta side. I'm not sure how much Logan Webb has left on his deal. The Peralta side, I would be a little bit concerned because as much as it annoys us when Carter Hawkins says we have to be concerned about the 2032 Cubs, yes and no. We definitely do need to be concerned about the 2027 and 28 Cubs because that could be a real excellent opportunity window for this team to maybe win a World Series or take something away from the likes of the Dodgers or the Braves. Because again, we're gonna have a new CBA. We don't know what those details entail. And if it comes down to a salary cap and a salary floor, some of these teams might be forced to make moves, and the Cubs I want to be ready to strike when the iron is hot. Now, to answer the first part of your question. So, we have impending free agents in Seiya Suzuki and Ian Happ. I think the Cubs are going to extend one of those guys. I'm not sure which one, probably more likely Happ, but that kind of opens the door for Kevin Alcantara, right? My concern is how do the Cubs view him now? If he's already one of our top prospects, right? Wouldn't he have gotten his shot when Seiya was hurt? Dylan Carlson made the team over him. I know we only have, I think, one more option. Shout out to Blake Cowell. He let us know during our episode together that we only have one option left of him. But again, I don't think the front office brass believes in him the same way that some fans might potentially do because he just hit his 15th home run in AAA. So we know he can hit AAA. But what's going to happen at that big league level? That I don't know. Michael Conforto bouncing back is kind of a good thing to see right here. And it kind of just sustains like, hey, maybe we don't need Kevin Alcantara. Kevin Alcantara could be, I'm not going to say a central piece in a trade, but a major piece for a trade for the team this year as they try to, and I'm not saying guys don't not get better. I know it kind of makes it seem that way, but I'm like, you can't mortgage the whole future for just 2026. You just can't do it. We're not at the same place in 2016. We have to remember the context of the situation, right? 2016, 108 years without a World Series. Generations have passed. Grandparents had not seen their team win. People were born and passed away where Cubs fans did not get to watch that team win a World Series once in their lifetime. Okay? Like, there's context in that situation. We won one 10 years ago. I'm not saying not be aggressive, but it's a different contextual situation, right? You can't just get rid of everything to go get it this year because you've seen how hurt we got, right? You've seen how hurt we've been. It could cost us even more down the road. So, Kevin Alcantara, he's absolutely available for a trade, in my opinion. I'm also looking maybe Jefferson Rojas, potentially, guys. I'm not sure what, because Dansby Swanson and Nico Horner, the Bregman, the core is there till 2029. Like that is set. Bregman's till like 2030. We can figure out how to find another shortstop in 4 years. I fully believe in the scouting system in that sense as well. So Jefferson Rojas has to be dangled out there as well. I think Jackson Wiggins is probably the only guy that's off limits unless we're getting a Scooble, like a Scooble. Maybe I don't even know if Alcantara fits that mold, but yeah, it'd have to be a Scooble level name to even have even have Jackson Wiggins in the conversation, in my opinion. So yeah, I mean, Webb would probably be more of the Jed prototype, right? Like he has a few more years of control. Kevin Alcantara, Jonathan Long, Jefferson Rojas. These are all guys I would consider in the move. I do agree with you guys. I think Jefferson Rojas is going to be really, really good. I just think we're kind of logjam in the infield, right? I think the Cubs believe in Ethan Conrad. We'll see at this trade deadline. Okay, we're gonna see at this trade deadline. But if we trade Alcantara, I think that kind of makes Ethan Conrad the next potential right fielder for the Cubs in that sense. But I'm not against going to get arms to upgrade the rotation for this season. But again, if we're gonna get Freddie Peralta, it's got to be at the right deal for the ball club. All right. TW says the bullpen separated the Braves from the Cubs. If Brown and Ray were in the bullpen because Horton and Boyd were starting, it would be a lot closer. But the Cubs still need another true closer or two if Brown stays starting. TW, you're not incorrect in that sense. But the only player the Cubs have lost for the season is Cade Horton. We have to remember that Cade Horton is the only one that is lost for the season. Every other pitcher is due back at some point. Now, could someone else get hurt? Absolutely. That's where I do think the Cubs are going to make a move. They're absolutely going to go get another guy. I'm kind of excited to see how they're going to pan out with the rest of these other minor leaguers like Rolison. He's kind of molding himself into a role. Hobie Milner has been pretty solid for this team as well. Webb is kind of starting to figure it out too. I'm kind of hoping maybe Trenton Thornton, the guy we had to call up the other day for Matthew Boyd, can kind of figure out kind of carve a niche role for himself in this lineup. Yes, we do need to add another reliever. I do not disagree with that. Again, the Braves, they went out and got Robert Suarez. Dude was leading the league in saves last year until they traded for the best closer in baseball in Anthony and Mason Miller. So just go get those arms. I don't know why the Cubs weren't interested in Robert Suarez. I really don't know why. He would have been a fantastic addition to this bullpen. You pair him up with Daniel Palencia, and we are a much better team. We're a much more confident team when it gets late in a ball game. So, yeah, 100%. We're going to have to go get some guys. But, I think there's that delicate balance that Jed does really well. He's going to do some bargain bin shopping. Like, don't get me wrong. That's what we do. But, yes, will he pay the premium to go get a guy that could change the outlook of this season and help this team get to a World Series? That is the question. That is the questions we're going to be discussing here on Cubs Daily all season long, ladies and gentlemen. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please hit that thumbs up button. Share your thoughts down below. 5 words or less on that win against the Atlanta Braves. And again, we are available on Apple and Spotify podcasts. Go check me out there. If you can't watch me on YouTube, you can listen to Cubs Daily there. So, hope you all have an absolutely fantastic start to your weekend and enjoy the series with the Cubs and the Sox. I don't know if I'll be doing a video on Saturday. If not, we'll be back on Sunday, but I hope you all have a great day. I love you all.